slowly, surely getting back to life as normal, I guess, and not being on vacation. Been doing a lot of skiing lately, which has been fun with the family, which is really nice. Even though we haven't had a lot of snow here, um, the mountains still have been able to make some amount of snow, so it's enough to go out and ski on, which is okay. I'm still very new to it. It's the first season I've ever been doing it, so a lot to learn. It's been a lot of fun, but we've been able to go out as a family, the four of us, and just been great lately. So that's kind of something new that's been going on with me. Um, but this week I wanted to talk a little bit about protein supplementation. So last week I did a video specifically on a couple of tips you can use to when taking collagen to improve soft tissue, tendons, ligaments, your own collagen within your body. So I thought it was kind of a neat little video, and people seem to like it a lot. So I thought I would talk a little bit more about protein supplementation because there's a lot of protein supplements out there, not just collagen. And actually, protein supplementation is in general quite popular. So I thought it'd be good to do just a little bit of a video on protein supplementation in general. So first off, I want to start by saying that we call it supplementation for a reason. So you should not be using proteins supplements as your main source of protein in your diet. So as we all know, and as I've talked about a number of times, protein intake is the number one thing that I look at when it comes to diet. And I want to make sure that people are eating enough protein for their goals. And in general, for most people, that looks like around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And so if you happen to be a little overweight, then you'll use 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. And yes, I know that's probably a little bit more than you need, but one, it doesn't hurt to have more than you need. There's no negative downside to that from a health standpoint, as long as you have proper kidney function. Um, and there's most people undershoot that number anyways, right? So um, shooting for a goal a little above what you need is probably best for most people because they're going to eat under that number anyway, so they'll probably be right around where they need to be anyways. So anyways, that's the amount of protein you need. But most of that protein that you eat throughout your day should come from whole food sources, right? So you want animal protein or plant protein, it doesn't particularly matter to me. But if you're going to um, supplement with protein, it should be just that, a supplementation, something you add on to just maybe reach that number, right? So that's topic number one when it comes to supplementation. And the reason for that, the reason why I advocate your most of your protein coming from whole food sources is because those whole food sources come with other things, right? So they come with vitamins and minerals and fats and carbohydrates, depending on whether you're getting from the animals or plants. And those things can all be beneficial to your body, right? They're all helpful things that your body needs. And when you take a supplement, generally it's just the protein, right? Unless you're talking about a protein bar or maybe a supplement that's spiked with a whole bunch of other things. But in general, most protein supplements are just the protein and not the vitamins and minerals and other good things that come along with the stuff that you get in whole food sources of protein. So, yes, you're trying to hit that protein number, but as a side effect of hitting that protein number, you're probably getting a bunch of other beneficial things in your diet outside of just protein. So that is why we advocate for most of our protein coming from whole food sources. So there are specific situations where I think a protein supplement can be useful. So as I mentioned, um, some people may have very high protein intakes just based on their body weight, right? If you're a fairly tall, big male, like you might be consuming over 200 grams of protein a day. And for some people, that can be quite challenging. So throwing in some protein supplementation in there can really help, especially if you have GI issues with eating a bunch of protein. Some people just they don't digest it very well. It makes them feel too full. It makes them feel bloated, that type of thing. And especially if you're new to consuming that amount of protein. So even if you're not consuming a lot of protein, but you're new to consuming kind of adequate amounts of protein, sometimes it takes a while for your stomach to adjust to that. So throwing in some easily digestible protein to help hit that number while you kind of your GI kind of adjusts can be quite useful. So that's probably the top use case is just, if you have a high number that you're trying to hit and you're having trouble doing that, then throwing in the protein supplementation is better than kind of missing that number. Um, so the next topic to talk about is kind of what types of supplements are there, right? So the most common supplement will be a protein powder, right? And this is kind of those big tubs of protein powder that you might find out there, right? And so there's different forms of protein powder. We talked about one last week, which is collagen, which for most people, as I mentioned in the video last week, collagen is an incomplete protein, meaning it's missing or fails to meet certain thresholds for various amino acids inside that protein, which makes it um, not able to be used for maintaining and building muscle. So it's what's called an incomplete protein. So we use it for other benefits like our hair, skin, nails, connective tissue, as we talked about last week. But collagen could not be used for building and maintaining muscle mass. Um, and so there's other types of protein. Probably the most popular and most effective and most widely studied type of protein out there is whey protein. So this is a dairy-based protein. And as long as you tolerate whey, there's really no need to look anywhere else. It is the best protein supplement out there, and you can get a whey protein powder uh, pretty universally out there. They may not all be as quality, but you can get it pretty accessible out there. And so that's a good place to start as long as you can tolerate dairy. And I suggest you just do some research. You can ask the company that's making the protein for a certificate of analysis, just to make sure that the protein powder is clean. Right? There was a few years back, there was a little bit of a report out there from Consumer Reports that found there's lots of nasty chemicals in various different protein powders. And so you want to make sure that the protein you're taking in is quite clean and free from anything else. So if you find a company that makes protein powder, I would just email them or look on their website for a way to just get some kind of certification that from a third party that the protein is actually, what it has in it is what it says is actually in there. So that's my tip for that stuff. There's plenty of other different types of proteins. Egg white protein is another one you can find. Beef isolate protein is another quite popular animal-based protein powder that's out there. With the beef isolate, many of them are also incomplete protein powders. I mean, they're kind of like collagen that a serving might not actually meet the proper thresholds for maintaining and building muscle. So you have to, again, ask the company and ask them if it's a complete or incomplete protein supplement. But many of the beef isolate proteins are not complete protein powders. And then there's plant-based protein powders, and this is a quite complicated topic. You can find very good plant-based protein powders out there, whether you're vegetarian or you have a dairy intolerance or egg intolerance and you can't use whey or egg protein. Plant-based protein is another option, and that's okay. But you have to again do some research here to find the right brand that combines the right different amounts of different types of plants to get an amino acid profile that is complete, that actually can be used for maintaining and building muscle. And as long as you can find that, they've been shown to be quite efficacious and just as good as whey or egg. But you have to do the extra legwork to make sure that the company again, is providing you with a protein supplement that is complete. So that's my caution there. Now, the other popular protein supplements out there are things called, you might have heard, BCAAs and EAAs. So BCAAs stand for branched chain amino acids, and EAAs stand for essential amino acids. So there are 9 essential amino acids that your body cannot produce endogenously. They have to be consumed externally through some food or supplement, right? Um, and so EAAs are all 9. That's a supplement that contains all 9 essential amino acids. And then BCAAs contain just 3 of those, which are particularly useful for building muscle. And a few years ago, BCAAs became quite popular because it was discovered that these 3 amino acids were critical in the muscle building and maintaining process, right? And so we thought if we supplemented these, it would be great. That's all you really needed to build and maintain muscle. It turns out that you probably need all 9 essential amino acids, and that if you just supplement with 3, you actually need the other 6 or so to actually make the process work. So it turns out that BCAAs are probably not that great. And if you're going to use an amino acid supplement, you probably want to go with essential amino acids. So all 9 essential amino acids, right? Which is why I stressed before with plant-based proteins and beef protein and collagen that they're incomplete. Meaning they're not they either missing those essential amino acids or they're not at the proper level. So you want to be getting all 9 essential amino acids at the right levels, and essential amino acid supplements do that. So probably just forget about BCAAs completely. And if you're going to use an essential amino acid supplement, the benefit here is they're generally just the amino acids, and they're quite low calorie. And in theory, you can use them to the same effect as if you were taking um, a whey protein or egg white protein or plant-based protein supplement. And that's all good, but they are quite expensive. So they're much more expensive than whey. So um, it's not very cost effective. The main situation I see using them is more in the athletic space. So people who are going to be doing, particularly endurance athletes who are going to be out exercising for a long period of time and are not able to intake a lot of food while doing so. And generally, protein is a very hard thing to digest, which doesn't work very well during hard athletic endeavors. So EAs work pretty well because you can just throw them in your water bottle and at least you're getting some amino acids along with whatever fuel you might be taking out on the endurance event. The other place they tend to work well are people who are doing some fasted training in the morning. It's really easy to take those 9 essential amino acids, throw them in a water bottle, and sip on that during your workout in the morning. So you have some circulating amino acids in your body. So you can kind of signal that muscle building signal while you're doing your resistance training fast in the morning without really intaking a whole bunch of calories. And so that is the other situation where I think they can be useful. So other than that, use a whey protein powder or some other protein powder that's complete, or eat animal-based foods and save your money on the EAs essentially. Um, the last protein supplements category that is pretty popular are bars, right? I think protein bars are mostly a marketing thing. They do come in quite handy though if you can find some good ones for travel situations where you're going to be out in the run. Maybe you want something a little bit more than just some protein powder in a water bottle, or that's not feasible to carry around with you. Like if you're on a plane or traveling, it might not be possible to bring your big tub of protein powder with you. So having a protein bar is convenient. The problem is with most protein bars, they come with a bunch of other stuff, right? So you might get, if you're lucky, you might get 20 grams of protein. And if you're lucky, that protein might be whey protein in there or plant-based protein or something like that. Lots of protein bars today contain collagen protein. As we just talked about, collagen protein is incomplete. It is not a complete source of protein powder, of amino acids. So it will not help in maintaining and building muscle mass. So if you're interested in maintaining and building muscle mass, which everyone should be, You want to look for a complete protein. So eating a protein bar that has collagen protein in it and a bunch of other stuff in it is probably not doing you very much good at all. So that said, you want to look with something for a protein bar that actually has complete proteins in it. So it will be a whey or an egg or a plant-based protein bar or something like that. And then just be careful what else you're getting there. You can have a ton of sugar, a ton of carbohydrates. You might get 20 grams of protein, but you might get, 40 grams of sugar or something like that, something insane in there. So you want to be careful. And they're also highly hyper palatable, right? So you can probably slam 2 or 3 protein bars, and yeah, you'll get 60 grams of protein, but you also get 800 grams of calories, right? And God knows how much sugar and stuff like that. So they're not the most efficient way to get your protein in. They're great for when you're in a pinch. If when people ask me what my protein bar recommendation is, I tell them go get some type of clean jerky, right? Get an animal-based jerky, right? That's nice and clean, has no sugars on it. It's just the beef, the chicken, the turkey, the whatever. It doesn't matter. The bison, the salmon, right? There's all kinds of great clean protein bars like jerkies out there that you're literally just getting animal-based protein, and it's got all the amino acids in it. It has all those vitamins and minerals that I just talked about having in the whole foods protein source. And so that's your best bet if you're in a pinch and you can't bring a protein powder and you can't eat, a real whole foods protein-based meal. Go get some jerky. I really like the stuff. I have no affiliation. I don't make any money from these people, but Epic has a great one. Great set of options that you can choose from. Um, there's what was the other one? I can't remember. It's kind of yeah, escaping me at the moment. But Epic is the one that comes to mind as a great one. But there's a couple of different companies out there that you just look at the packaging, as long as there's no sugar or anything like that in it, just grab that, and that's your protein bar, right? Just that is the best protein bar there is, in my opinion. So yeah, that's how I think about protein supplements in general. Like, just the number one thing is they are a supplement. They are not the main source of protein consumption in your diet. Whole foods protein should be the main source of protein consumption in your diet. Use it as a supplement when you're in a pinch, when you're having a hard time hitting your protein goal. Watch out for extra stuff in the protein supplement, whether it's a bar or a shake or whatever. Lots of times you'll find all kinds of extra stuff in there outside of just protein. And make sure that it's a complete protein, right? Collagen protein, something to look out for. Beef isolate protein can be another one that's incomplete. Incorrect uh, different. Some plant-based proteins can be incomplete depending on the types of sources of protein powder or sources of protein that they're getting them from. So look out for that as well. And yeah, that's how to think about it, and that's how I think about it, and that's how I suggest my clients think about it. So if you like this type of information, please let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate everyone listening. I know this one went a little long this week. I try to keep them shorter, but I was rambling. There's a lot of good information about protein supplementation, apparently. And so I appreciate you all listening to me. If you want to get all this content that I put out on a weekly basis, please go to my website, rjbhealth.coach. Click on the newsletter link at the top, enter your email address, and you sign up for my newsletter, and I will email you all the content each week, which is a great way to keep on top of what I'm putting out. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, please go to my website again, rjbhealth.coach. Right in the homepage, there's a schedule discovery call button. Click on that button, fill out the form, and I'll get an email, and we can chat a little bit more about coaching and how I can help you reach your goals. And with that, I'll talk to everyone next week. Have a good week, have a good weekend, and talk to you all soon.